that's what I don't really understand on some of these studios. You have like a, let's say, recipe for a good working game. You have your audience, your existing audience, and if you have made the previous games all in an isometric view, why switch? Yes, you're trying to gain new audience, but you are very probably going to lose a portion of your old one. And you have a certain, like I said, recipe, certain characteristics that your games usually have and for which they are known. And people are used to that. And now when you start to change things around, like how is it? Don't fix what's not broken. So I think that's the problem, that a lot of the studios in their chase for, let's say, new audience, they are trying to change something on how they are creating games, and it's not always working. And we have to keep in mind, way back when, many years ago, when you had way fewer studios with fewer games coming out every year, there was a good chance that even if you are making something which is not exactly, let's say, per standard formula, that your old fan base will still come back and play it, and maybe they will be not so fond of it, but there were not so many other options, at least not in certain types of games or with certain protagonists, with certain combat systems, etc. Now, the games that are coming out, if you look at how many games are coming out every year, it's like thousands, if we are including, of course, all the smaller studios and the indie game devs, etc. It's crazy. So there's such a vast amount of games that's coming out that if you are not really, let's say, sticking to that recipe and you are not keeping your older audience or your existing fan base, they will just move to a different game, because there's such a vast amount of games that currently they have on the offer. So I do think that there is something that these studios are forgetting, that they should, if they want to add some new audience, they should at least like try to add something to the existing recipe, but not change it completely. And I think that was the problem probably here as well. Yeah, as I said, but the experiment, okay, you said, and mind you, I get that the hate they got was due to terrible PR. And John is saying, no, the game earned the negatives. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't exactly following up on that one, but I do believe that it has something to do as well with what you're mentioning and with what I said, that they are changing something on the existing game systems or how they used to do them, and it's not going to fit everyone. Yeah, Louise is saying that Obsidian mucked up the response. Yeah, that was another thing. And I think that's, again, something that's the problem these days with the social media. You have a lot of the times people in charge of, let's say, governing the social media for these studios who are probably not the best ones because they are not objective. So yes, there will always be some trolls, let me put it that way, who will be trolling around the social media and wreak some havoc. But in general, you should have someone in charge of the social media who's having a relatively objective and mature point of view. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And I have seen that a lot of the times happening already before. And that's actually also what happened with Dawn Walker, and why I stopped promoting it. Because, as I said, the Discord server, that was awful. The mods there, it's just like childish people who absolutely do not accept a different like worldview, and they are just, banning people left and right for different opinions, right? Or for stating something that's actually reality or truth. Let's not go into details here, but it's a good example, actually. And unfortunately, I can see that in other studios as well. Like, there are people in charge of social media that probably shouldn't. And I think that's the problem oftentimes as well these days. You didn't have that way back in the past. You had games that had some let's say, PR department that was handling the marketing and the responses. And the social media aspect was not yet so prevalent and was, let's say, more tightly controlled, I would say. So basically any answer or any reaction on the social media was something that they first like internally discussed before they actually replied something that could potentially be problematic. Now you have their people in charge who oftentimes don't even know the game. They are just from some third-party companies. They don't actually really say, they don't really care that if what they say is going to, cause some uproar. And then, of course, we see the bad reactions and the bad handling of the social media for established studios and for games that maybe the people were looking forward to. So I guess that's something that we have to keep in mind too.